Are you listening? Damn.
And the ball is loose. Third and 4.
Welcome to another edition of the AFC North Talk presented by True Classic. Upgrade your shirt game. They have more stuff too, but I can vouch for the shirts. Top tier, True Classic. And this week, we have 2 games and 2 buys. Me and Ace are vibing. The last week was Tony and Q. This week is me and Ace, the top of the screen here.
Okay. All right. The L is still on Baltimore until the season is over. And it's not
it is. It is.
What was the last time it was changed? I don't know. It's been a while, man. We're getting kind of comfortable up here.
Well, with the logo, look, man, we made the terms at the beginning of the year.
The
We already negotiated this CBA, all right? And you're not about to switch the terms. You agreed to it. You was the driving force on this new agreement that we got here, Ace.
Ace is talking about our positioning. He's saying that it's being comfortable. Me and him up here.
Now, Sonny, how fastly have you forgotten how long you spent in that bottom right corner all season? You know what I mean? You was in that basement because you won one division game.
Q. It wasn't just that he was in the basement. I mean, he was in this spot last year.
Season.
And then it was the worst. I was like, when you least expect it, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So I understand he's enjoyed his time up there with the sun and all that. Look, I've been in this spot for like 4 years. You know what I mean? Like this spot ain't changed. I always got new neighbors over here. This week is Tony. Sometimes it used to be Ace. Me and Ace used to kick it down here. Last year it was Sonny. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to figure out who kicking it here because the Browns have they don't rent third place. They own third place.
Yeah, it was me and you. It was me and you for a lot of last season, and then just by the end of the season, it was like, oopsies. Steelers finished second in the division. Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't want to claim like the Steelers weren't down here. I mean, we were down here last year too. It's just.
It's crazy. The Browns and Steelers might be the least valuable. We are now the Thursday night AFC North rivalry game. Congratulations, Browns and Steelers.
Yeah,
we did that.
We got flexed.
It used to be Browns and Bengals. You know what I mean? Like they used to be us. The battle for Ohio was like the Maxion special of the AFC North, but now it's us and the Steelers.
Tony, you guys got flexed to Sunday night, right?
From Sunday night, out of, which is great because I planned an entire vacation where I will not have access to watch Sunday Ticket or anything close to that. Around the idea that the Steelers are going to be playing in prime time.
Well, they're still going to be playing 4:25 on CBS, right? That's still like a national window.
Nah, it won't be because they have Cowboys Vikings. So that will be.
Yeah.
So you're not getting Romo. You're getting screwed.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe there's like a potential that I can still see the game, but I'll probably catch most of it on
You're going to be on a cruise, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be on a cruise. Yeah.
I remember my honeymoon, I went on a cruise and they had remember that Saints game? Against
they'll have it. They'll play it on the cruise.
Against Seattle, where Marshall Lynch they went 7-9.
You even want to watch this game on that cruise, man?
No, of course I did. No, Q, you don't understand.
You got bet. Remember the cruise has
Steeler fans we have 3 games circled. Okay, for the rest of the season. Okay, and the biggest one, the one that is, well, we're gonna one of the Ravens games, right? One of the Ravens games we got to win. Okay, but this one against the Bengals. This is like the season is a success in I don't know how all other Steeler fans feel. I'll just tell you this from my perspective. If the Steelers pull off a sweep of the Bengals, I don't care if they finish the year 3 and whatever, 3-14, whatever the stupid number is now. Hopefully Tomlin pulls a tie out somewhere so we can have a normal record. But no, if it's
what did they tie versus the Bengals?
No. Then we didn't lose to the Bengals. And we went undefeated.
Yeah, you went undefeated against the Bengals.
Undefeated against Joe Burr. Yeah, no, I can't wait. So, yes, I want to see that one. Yes, I want to see this game. It's probably going to go the other way. but I still.
You know what?
I feel like by the end of the first quarter, this might be one of those where you're like, yeah, I'm glad I don't have consistent access to Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
although TJ's coming back now. I mean, the Steelers are getting healthier defensively, so the hope would be just like keep it at least somewhat respectable.
Tony,
Don't be a Panthers.
And the cruise that I went, they had high speed internet for extra like expensive.
High speed internet. They have all of that stuff. You should definitely.
You can get your YouTube.
Well,
TV.
that's what I'm saying. I'll be able to get it on the iPad on like Red Zone.
Save that $8.99.
It wasn't $8.99. The high speed.
No, it's not $8.99. No, Q.
That was like dial-up.
Was it? Oh, it's like $30.
$7 a day.
Yeah,
no,
the high speed was 30. The high speed was 30 a day.
The internet is a drug, and we are all addicted if they're charging $30 a day. And you know what? If you don't pay for it, you have to be sitting there like,
I did not
pay.
Know
what I mean? Like, because I don't know what I would do if I can't go on YouTube like to watch some videos or something.
On the cruise surviving, you need to disconnect. Especially
what if you don't like the people you on the cruise with?
Well, that's true.
Well, I mean, I would assume you go.
That sounds like a. You gotta roll that one out. We gotta unpack.
I guess you're going with your spouses, so like you would like who you're going. Right. But like if you go like on a family cruise, man, I ain't doing no family cruise. Nah. It's at least one person that's gonna be on there that you like. Why are you here? And why am I stuck on here?
Tony, are they gonna let you gamble on the cruise? Is it one of those we're in international waters? So
am I gonna gamble on this cruise? Okay, I'll just tell you guys this. The reason I'm going on this cruise is because the casino of this boat provider comped the room for me. So yes, I will be partaking in the casino.
Tony will be broke coming back from the cruise. Can you like
Tony one of them dudes that don't go to Vegas and not think like all their cards, right? Like he got all of his Excalibur cards.
He's one of those dudes like blackjack.
He got that dad wallet that's like this big of just casino cards. Like, you never know. I get a free buffet with this one.
Where is my wallet? I probably do have casino cards in here, but no, I joke about a lot of things on this show. I've said this before. I joke about a lot of things. The one thing I do not joke about is my gambling habits. That is not. Yeah, there we go. Look, that's this is the casino at Steelers training camp right there. Bam, dude. I'm like, let's go.
I was gonna say, I think
but Tony got at least like 12 free buffets of worth the casino cards in his wallet.
Listen, I don't mess around.
Man.
Tony, do you get those unmarked envelopes in the mail that end up being like random gambling websites that are like,
yes, and it's like,
wow, I didn't know that happened.
One offshore. I have some crazy stories about getting checks from offshores back in the day when you would have to when there was no Bitcoin or anything to or you would have to actually get a paper check.
Wait, was this like when Bodog was a thing and you had to like?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, my dad used to do that.
You know what we need to do? We need to leave these stories for the Patreon.
For the Patreon?
Yeah. I think these stories will be good for Patreon. This sounds like a very interesting story. Anyway,
my dad used to like call us into his room in the middle of the night. It'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning. He'd be like, "Hey, Quincy, I need you to come here." I'm like, "What's going on? Is he okay?" Hold my hand. I got to take a dump. And I would just have to play. I would have to play Texas Hold'em for like 5 minutes while he cooking like ribs or like using the toilet at 1 o'clock in the morning. Man. I was so glad when that website died. I was like, yes, get my Saturdays back. I'll be playing Call of Duty. I can't pause that, man. You know how mad I'd be. It'd be just a whole cycle of people passing controllers off to each other on Saturdays, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Aaron here says, Tony, it's 3rd and 3, game on the line. Who are you taking, Trent Richardson or Trent Richardson 2.0?
I like the idea that the Steelers are in a game. First of all, just enjoy that idea. Given that the last time I watched my Steelers play, they lost by 20. So first of all, appreciate that, Aaron. 3rd and 3, we're not running the ball. The Steelers, you don't remember, the Steelers can barely convert in like 3rd and 1. So 3rd and 3. Pass the ball.
And look, man.
But I will select Jalen Warren in that situation.
Look. See, y'all make all these jokes about Trent Richardson. The one thing Trent Richardson was good at was the goal line. Look at his was it? The AAFL numbers. He was touchdown god. He averaged like 2 yards per carry. He had like 5-7 touchdowns though, like 4 games with them. And then he had 13 touchdowns his rookie year in Cleveland. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, but here's the thing, Q. and this is a serious question. How many red zone or goal line opportunities do you think the Steelers have had this year? Have they had 13?
2.
Like, no, I mean,
Oh,
like,
they
I don't even
probably
know off the
haven't
top
had.
of my head.
I'm talking about last year. They had more red zone opportunities last year.
Last
He had,
year,
what,
last
10?
year. But yeah, what were his touchdown numbers last year?
He had like
But,
11, I
Tony,
believe, or
so
something like
Tony,
that.
I read that Warren is supposed to get more touches. I forgot.
Yeah.
what-
Tomlin
Was it
said at his
Tomlin?
press conference. Yeah, Tomlin said at his press conference, he said he made mention of the fact that like he's leaving the door open that Warren will become the starter, the long-term starter. And he was asked, I forget how the wording.
They ain't never drafted a running back in the first 2 rounds.
Oh
again.
God. I mean, you got to learn the hard way, right? You got to learn the hard way. So at
Ain't
least they
nothing
learned
like
a
it when your first rounder get beat out by, what was it, Warren, a 3rd round pick?
lesson.
No.
3rd round pick. Go lower.
Undrafted, right?
Yeah, undrafted.
He was undrafted?
Yeah.
Dog.
Drafted.
They got to treat running back like the Ravens treat wide receivers. They ain't never
Never
taking
again.
that position
Hashtag never
seriously again.
So guys, I know we're in a political environment. Can we not in the chat just talk politics? Because then that derails the whole show. There's a lot of things over there. Politics, enjoy it, right? I personally enjoy politics, but not in here. That's not the time.
Now is not the time. That's right. There's time and place.
I
Today is not the
personally
day.
enjoy football, so let's keep football.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
we want to talk politics, the only politics we can talk about is how fastly Cliff Kingsbury is about to lose his job. You know what I mean?
If he
That's the
loses
only.
If he loses this week, he should be can. He should be can. Anyway, let's
Thank
talk
God.
about
Are they so far out that he has to get fired?
I feel like he sold like, remember that story that came out in Arizona when they like he sold himself on them so hard, dog. He about to get that Hugh Jackson 4th year out of nowhere, dog. Like that's how Hugh got us in Cleveland, man. Where he was like Jimmy just loved him. He went 1-15, 1-31, and then Jimmy was like, "Look, man, he just hasn't had a chance.
Look,
Let me give him that
if
3rd year, baby." That's what Cliff about to get.
If the Cardinals lose, they're gonna be 3-7.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be extremely hard for them. I mean, it's not impossible because they're not mathematically eliminated, but 3-7, the Commanders are gonna be better.
But they're gonna say if we had D-Hop early in the year, that season's different.
Yeah, but they already lost with D-Hop. D-Hop
Well,
is an amazing.
By the time he got there, was a lost cause. I'm telling you, they're gonna find some excuse to keep Cliff Kingsbury in power. He will coach next year for the Cardinals.
Like I can see.
Well, you think he makes it through the year? I don't know about that.
They should
I
fire
don't know
him.
about the year.
But Q, think about this. If he goes with his normal record, right, that means he's about to lose a bunch of games in the second half of the year.
But they just extended the quarterback that he was the one that pounded the table for. There, like they're kind of married to this situation, is what I'm saying.
But Kyler doesn't look like he's a fan of him.
I mean, Kyler wasn't a fan of him at Texas A&M. It didn't stop anybody from doing it. Like it's just they're kind
You
of.
don't have to like each other to be good, though. I mean, like
That's what
Brady,
I'm saying.
Belichick, famous.
Brady ain't like Belichick, you know what I mean? But see, that's a ridiculous comp that we just did right there by accident. But like,
yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, you don't have to get along. If you have, you can just make like, Todd Haley, Ben Roethlisberger, right? Like, to do it differently.
Yeah, it's not gonna last that long.
They made some good.
But you can make some good music. You know what I mean? Like you can make some jams.
Todd Haley and Big Ben openly hate each other. But anyway, let's talk about Steelers.
They was making the jams, though. They was making the jams on that.
Yeah, they were. Okay,
and I bet Ben Roethlisberger looks back and goes, "I missed them jams.
Yeah.
I should have made more of them."
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah.
So we're
I know
talking
Tony
here.
missed them jams.
This week we had in my opinion, two good. I was telling the guys in the backstage, 2 good games, and somebody corrected me. No, two competitive games. It should be competitive game, right?
That's right.
I don't know the lines right now, but let's talk about Saints.
You want to guess them?
I can tell you, like, the Pittsburgh one will be like 1.5.
Who's favored? Who's favored and by how much?
Minus 1.5 for the Steelers.
For the Steelers, okay. And then
it's in Pittsburgh, right?
It's in Pittsburgh. Yep.
In Pittsburgh.
And then the Browns play in
Miami.
Miami. Ooh, okay, so that will be
homecoming game for Jacoby Brissett,
5.
baby. Let's
-5.
go. Revenge and a homecoming. Oh man, they league
-5.
Okay,
so you're off on both. You're actually way off on the Steeler one.
Oh, what?
The Steelers game opened at Saints by 3, and it's
Minus 3.
moved. Yeah, so Saints by 3, and then it's moved to Saints by 1.5.
Okay.
Oh, the Jets fans are back.
Oh, look
yeah,
at
here we
that,
go.
Jets. Look at that. Also, here, Nova Stone here says Tom Brady playing early is perfect. Elder best M1.
Oh, yeah, they're in what, Germany this week?
Oh,
They are? Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's a Germany. I think there's a Germany.
Yeah,
game.
against Gino.
That's right. Big game.
No, they're gonna beat Gino. Gino's gonna beat Tom Brady. Anyway, let's talk about this. Ace, I'm gonna go with you first. Steelers against your boy Andy, the Red Rifle.
Not my boy. Not my boy at all. I mean, I haven't cheered for this guy in years, and then he let me down. But this one, I mean, honestly, I feel like the Steelers should really win this game. The only thing that could cause them, I feel like, to lose this game could possibly be Kenny Pickett, right? Like, that's the only reason. If he has a Kenny Pickett game, like we've seen in the past, I actually didn't know this. It was brought to my attention by my man Sports Guru on Twitter. I looked at he showed a stat where it was like interceptable passes. Kenny Pickett has 21 interceptable passes. He's number 1 in the league when it comes to that. Obviously, he didn't start the season. He's number 6 in danger plays. That's the only world where I feel like they could actually have a possibility of losing. Andy Dalton, I just don't believe in him. Like you said before when we were talking, Sonny, like any pressure that you put in Andy Dalton's face, and it's funny because I looked at the same kind of numbers for Andy Dalton. He pretty much plays scary football. He's not trying to take any danger plays. He's not trying to throw any passes that could be intercepted. He's just throwing stuff away. And so I think if the Steelers, with them possibly getting TJ Watt back, TJ Watt could wreck this game. That's all it's going to take for Andy Dalton to really give up here. And I think it's interesting, and probably Tony can elaborate on it because who knows now with Twitter who's credible or not. But there was this thing floating around talking about that Najee Harris is going to get a reduced role, and the backup guy that we've all been talking about for a while, saying that this guy's better than Najee Harris, is going to get more opportunities. And the other thing I saw was that they're also going to ramp up getting Pickens more involved, right? So I could see that being a recipe to where they can end up beating the Saints in this game. And then you talk about it being in Pittsburgh. To me, this just lines up for the Steelers in this one. I think TJ Watt, I think Kenny Pickett to Pickens is definitely a recipe. And I think the kid, I think his name is Jalen. I can't remember.
Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warren. I think that's what gets them over the top in this game. So I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one. I think that this is a winnable game for them against New Orleans at home. Coming out of the bye, I think they get this one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say, I think that, this is certainly a winnable game for the Steelers, right? I mean, they've come out of 4 games in a row, Bills, Bucks, Dolphins, Eagles, where they were more than a touchdown underdog in every single one, right? The interesting thing about where the bye week came for the Steelers is it did kind of, every Steelers fan got a chance like, okay, well, this season sucks, but you did get a chance to reset a little bit. And I think if you reassess the beginning part of the schedule, right, those first 8 games, the 2-6 start, the Steelers have only played, like as we sit today, the Steelers have only played 1 team with a losing record, right? I mean, everyone else that they play turns out to be at least competent on some level, right? Even the Browns. So yeah, it's the second half of the schedule is certainly easier, and this one is easy. By the way, I don't know if you know this, Sonny. I think the NFL probably screwed this one up. I think they thought that they were scheduling the Ravens in this one because, man, did they give the Steelers an unbelievable schedule advantage here
on Monday night? So
the Steelers
a short week.
Yeah, so the Saints are coming off of a short week, and the Steelers are coming off of a bye. Yeah, I mean, this is something that I thought they only did for the Ravens. Like, basically, John Harbaugh basically just, says, hey, I want to play at this time.
Nah,
the NFL just goes, yes, whatever you would like, Ravens.
We have a bye, and the team that we're playing is coming from a mini bye, right? They're playing on Thursday. So.
Wow.
You know how I know the Ravens know that they get favorable treatment by the NFL? How hard they convince us that it does not happen. You know what I mean? They try real hard.
100%.
No, I've seen the Ravens. He's quoted Edgar Allan Poe before. Why do you think he do that? He's not a fan of literature. He's a fan of the Ravens. That's what he is.
Yeah. So look, this is a winnable game. I mean, I think a lot of Steeler fans, I get a lot of Steeler fans messaging me saying, even, and it's funny because they're all saying like the Steelers are going on a run. Everyone's expecting the Tomlin second half of the year, right? Now, you guys know me. I don't believe that. I've been saying for a very long time, like I think this team is headed for, low single digit wins, 4, 5, 6 if they're lucky. But I will steel man the argument for all those Steeler fans out there who feel like this team's going on a run, right? Because you can certainly make that argument. They've gone up against the best. I mean, you would argue probably 3 of the teams they've played so far are top 5 teams in the National Football League. And ever since they put Kenny Pickett in, they've only gone up against those best defenses or those best teams. Now he has not looked good in those games, but you can certainly make an argument that the quality of opposition is about to go down. They're about to finally get back-to-back home games. Kenny's only played in 1 home game. That was the game against Tampa. And the Steelers are getting back their best player. TJ Watt is coming back this week, and they're also getting back DeMonte Casey, who I think is going to be he's not going to be as big a get as Watt, because Watt is an absolute monster. But going back to training camp, what was really interesting in watching this defense in camp is how good Casey was. And he turned himself into, not just like a depth piece of like, hey, this team finally has depth at safety, but like, hey, you can't keep this guy on the bench. And the Steelers started working in more 3 safety looks. It was something that early on in the year I expected to see a lot of. Then obviously Casey tore his or broke his forearm, which kept him out the beginning part of the season. The other thing that Ace hit on there, the offensive changes. So Tomlin keeps talking about changes are coming, significant changes coming, right? And everyone's thinking to themselves like, what does that mean? You didn't fire any, like no one got fired. No one, no coach, not even a position coach, nothing. Nothing about the coaching staff changed. So what is this significant change that's coming, especially on the offensive side where there are real issues? Obviously, Chase Claypool is gone. Now, as Tomlin said, maybe that doesn't have an effect. I mean, I certainly think, going to the analytics part of this, there's a reason why in analytics you measure things over average, right? They do this thing where like this player is X amount over average, or like DVOA is defensive value over average. EPA is expected points added because its expected points are average. Chase Claypool at the slot, like how much above average was Chase Claypool in the slot? Was he any at all over average? Is Steven Sims going to be a net negative? Could he be a net positive at that position? I think the one change I'm looking to see on offense is Najee Harris not getting the ball as much, which is crazy to say because that guy was the 1st round pick a year ago. But when you think about what is the significant change that could even be made offensively, if it's personnel related, it has to be that Jaylen Warren's going to get more reps. Potentially, you could see this team get Pickens the ball more. But again, as that's a nice thing to say, is like they should get the ball to Pickens more. But when you watch Pickens and his route tree, this offense is not designed to get George Pickens the ball. Right? George Pickens' route tree is very simple. It's out routes, it's go routes, and it's comebacks. Right? I mean, that's all he's doing. And so you're not scheming any of that stuff open. So unless you're willing to you're just going to throw a bunch of 50-50 balls Pickens' way, and that's how he's going to be our number one guy. Like, what are we going to do? 11 deep balls a game? Like, that's going to be our number one target? I don't see that. The other thing I think, Sonny, that could happen here is you might end up in a situation where you might be a little impressed with Matt Canada. What if they started using the middle of the field more often? Claypool goes out. They talked about using Freiermuth potentially more.
The move.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens in this one. A lot of Steeler fans feel like this is the beginning of a run the Steelers are about to go on. They got the Colts coming up. They got the Panthers coming up. They got the Falcons coming up. They got some winnable games.
They got the South. The South is coming.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, exactly. We've got a get right schedule. We got the get right division coming in.
Boy, could you imagine Brian Flores losing to Jeff Saturday? Like, could you imagine having to be in his linebacker room after that?
I do think. Okay, here's my thought. I think I'm going to do like 2 predictions in one. I have a feeling that Steelers are going to lose this game tight in a stupid way, and then they're going to beat the Bengals in the next week. I think that the Steelers are going to, if you just played it out normal, the Steelers beat the Saints, lose to the Bengals, right? That's like a normal way that this plays out. They have every advantage against the New Orleans. They're coming off of a bye. They got everything going for them. And then the Bengals are coming off a bye the next week. So no way they're going to beat the Bengals coming off of a bye, right? But, Mike Tomlin weird. This is like a Mike Tomlin weird shit happens. That's why I'm predicting the opposite. I'm predicting lose to the Saints, beat the Bengals. That's where I am right now. And I still think this team probably finishes with like 5 wins.
Before I go to Q, because Ace is about to leave, but we lost him. Because Ace wanted to say his Browns thought before he went.
Oh yeah. Well, we are dealing with the. By the way, those of us in Florida, happy Hurricane Day. Hurricane's coming. It's here actually.
It only comes 3 times a year.
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
hold
it's
on.
fun.
I have Ace over here. Let me take
Quarterly.
it out here.
Hey, whoa.
You said go ahead, Sonny.
Yeah, about the Browns.
Yep. So I'm gonna get my pick because I gotta head out pretty soon. So Browns, Dolphins. This game, I mean, this is a game that they need Denzel Ward back because that Dolphins wide receiver duo is legit, right? But the thing is, Denzel Ward, he wasn't playing the best ball before the injury, and so this is going to be a tall task for him having to come back. With Tyreek Hill, who already has 1,100 receiving yards, he is playing insane this season. He's got 1,100. Waddle's got like 800. They got 2 guys that are just really, really good at football. I think that is going to be one of the deciding factors here. I think the Browns can definitely hang with this team, but I think ultimately McDaniel, which is what Coach Nerd that Tony calls him, I think
Nerd boy
guy. And the other factor is it's in Miami too as well, right? Like that's just going to be a tall order, I think, for this Browns team. Can they? I think it'll be a close one because obviously you got Myles Garrett, you got Nick Chubb. You're going to have to lean on those guys, I think, if you want to keep this one close. But this Dolphins team, bro, every game you think that somebody's going to get them, they just come back against every single team. I was watching the game last week. I'm like, oh, the Dolphins are about to lose. Next thing I know, they end up celebrating. Tua's going crazy. Like, everybody's catching touchdowns. They're just a team that can come back against you. And I just think they are destined, especially with Josh Allen and his injury. There's some blood in the water there, I think, in that division. And I think that they're going to try to push through this one. If the Browns had Deshaun, I'm probably taking the Browns in this situation. But with those 2 receivers, that explosive offense, I'm going to get a slight edge to Miami. So I got the Dolphins in that one.
Okay, well, Ace, take it easy, bro.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy your time with the sun.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. You guys take it easy.
So Q, now, because Q will tell me, hey, why am I in the bottom? So Q, Steelers, Saints. What is your thoughts in that game?
Steelers versus the Saints. What are my thoughts on this game? It's a game that I would not watch unless I had to do this show. It's interesting because I kind of feel like I actually do know what they expect out of Kenny Pickett. I just haven't confirmed it yet, right? Where my whole thing with Kenny Pickett is I think he's a backup, right? I think that's what he is in the NFL, is a backup quarterback. And well, with backups, sometimes you get good enough performances and sometimes they show you why they're backups, right? Because they make some bad decisions. It falls into cascades and other problems, and thereon and so forth. But getting TJ Watt back, that's big. Andy Dalton is a statue back there, and apparently he's still starting for him. And I think this Steelers defense is due for a Tomlin game. Now, I know Tony, we all treating the Bengals like they Kurt Angle when he first won the WWF championship, and everybody's just like, yeah, we could beat them. We know we could beat them. Let me fight them. You know what I mean? But I don't know if that happens there for the Steelers, just because the Bengals can. Well, sometimes they put up points, sometimes they don't, famously. But yeah, it's gonna be one of those games where I think TJ's really gonna make the difference, and then Kenny's gonna look good because he's not gonna mess it up. And I think that's what you can kind of trust out of them this week. So I would say, especially if Jaylen Warren gets more carries, because then all of a sudden you got a run game going. Yeah, I like the Steelers in this one.
Okay, so for me, I would say this: the whole Warren situation, because I saw it and I was like, LOL, because y'all know I have never been a believer in Najee Harris, right? But I'm not even saying that Warren's gonna be better than Najee. Even if Warren is as bad as Najee, you would just expect Najee to be better because you spend a first-round pick on Najee Harris, right?
Ain't it like, don't you always feel like you got sold a fraud when like they get rid of the guy, when you draft the guy that everybody's like, oh, that's the next great Alabama running back, and then the next dude is like way better, you know what I mean? Like that's how we felt like when Trent Richardson went and it was Eddie Lacy and Derrick Henry. We're like, whoa, we got ripped off.
In fairness, the next guy was Brian Robinson, though, not Jahmyr Gibbs. I know what you're saying, but like technically it's 2 guys later.
When you see that within the next 2 years and you just like, oh no, this was the next dude. Like that's crazy.
But Bama has churned out, good running back after good running back.
I mean,
Well, I mean, it's either been like it's going to be Kenyon Drake,
Mhm.
or you get a Derrick Henry, a Mark Ingram, right? Like, there's really only been what
Kenyon
2 or
Drake
3.
I would put on the good side. I would
Yeah,
put
Kenyon Drake's all right,
Yeah,
but he's not like hold it down, first down running back. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think
there's
Bama
got to be 3. There's got to be 3 buckets.
the
Because where would
whole
you put Josh Jacobs?
I think the Bama running
he's
back.
kind of in between, right?
Yeah, I think the whole
He's in between.
Bama running
Yeah.
back situation is in college they're amazing. In the pro level, you get a couple like King Henry, right? That just like
It's crazy
but
that
most
Derrick
of them
Henry's like
mid.
still running the ball
Yeah,
efficiently.
he's
At the
nuts.
level of usage he's been at for like the last 10 years.
Look at now with Malik Harrison, their quarterback. I'm blanking.
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. He threw what 6 passes, 7? I don't even know. I don't remember. And Henry was like, "Okay, I'm gonna carry."
Derrick Henry been getting like 20 carries a game since like his second year in college. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. He's still like upright, especially the way they practice at Alabama. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay, but going back to the Steelers game, I am very interested to see if there really gonna be changes, right? Not that I'm rooting for the Steelers, but I do think that Freiermuth has to be featured. They have a legit tight end. You guys know how much I like Freiermuth coming out of the college in that year. And that is like, he can just be there, a 7-yard route, 6-yard route, easy completions, middle of the field for Kenny Pickett, just to get him comfortable, just to give him the roof, right? I've been baffled that they don't use him more, right? The other thing, the Steelers, if they can put some sort of a running game, then play action could be a thing, right? Just again to help, to calm the pass rush against Kenny Pickett. But I think this game is going to be defined on how this defense of the Steelers can play against the offense for the New Orleans Saints. It's a away game for the Saints. They're a dome team. The conditions in the Steelers is what, Tony? It's not gonna be freezing, but it's what? It's like 40s or 50s. Oh, you're muted.
In Pittsburgh this week, the weather.
Yeah.
Great question. Is it gonna be that cold already? Let's see. Yeah. Weather is 49, so probably probably
okay.
Low 50s, high 40s.
So the key for me in this game for the Steelers is Kamara cannot go crazy, right? So if Kamara starts running all over the field, then game over. They can't do that. They need to make sure Kamara is held, right? The Ravens did a good job against New Orleans in that game. And second, pressure Andy. If you pressure Andy and you hold Kamara, then that's the recipe. And the other side on offense, just don't do turnovers, right? Kenny Pickett, just do conservative things, I guess, and you win this game. Because I think if the defense plays as we expect this defense to play, this game should be won by the Steelers. It's a Boswell game, right? It's a game that might be
no Boz. Boz is hurt.
Okay, whoever
Matthew Wright game. It's a Matthew Wright game.
Okay, so Wright game. This is a game I see it like 15-7, 15-10 Steelers.
Wow, that low scoring. Not in the 20s at all. I mean, the Steelers getting to the 20s is an absolute miracle. But see, my thought is like, yeah, I mean, see, like you, I think a key number one in this game for the Steelers is win the turnover battle. You get TJ back, right? You get TJ back. That you want that to equate to getting turnovers. Create turnover. That is how you go back to the old way the Steelers used to win. My problem is with this game, like if I'm like gaming out what's the best case scenario for the Steelers at the end of the year, I'm not saying that the Steelers should just go on the best case scenario for the Steelers is not to go on a run and make the playoffs. Like a lot of Steelers fans want to believe. The best case scenario for the Steelers over the second half of the schedule is fix the friggin' offense. Again, they could go on and win a bunch of games and make the playoffs because TJ Watt and Minka and Hayward like do the same thing they did last year. They put this team on their back and Kenny does just enough at the end of games. But that's not good enough. Like that, it's meaningless in the grand scheme of things for this team to win the same way they've been doing. They have a humongous problem offensively. They either need to figure that out or they need to bottom out so that they can figure out that in the long term. But, I
don't want them to bottom out.
Yeah. But I'm
pulling for you guys in this game.
I know. Yeah. Well, exactly. The second, all of a sudden, AFC North Talk is a big Steeler podcast.
Okay, super chat here. Before we pay some bills, Tony, I'm gonna.
Boy, y'all playing the tanking all stars. Y'all got the Colts and the Panthers. You think that Colts game on Monday Night Football?
Our path to the number 1 overall pick. Like you could almost argue like they control their own destiny.
They do control their own destiny. You know what I mean?
They don't play the Texans or the Lions, but
y'all gonna have to root for the Browns to make sure they to make sure Deshaun's revenge is spoiled on that day, huh?
That's right. Yeah, no,
hope they get one, huh?
Yeah.
Steve here says, which team in the North will benefit most if Sean Payton took over? I feel all staffs are expendable. I love him in Cincy, or is Payton AC bound? Maybe Indy.
The Ravens.
Who would benefit the most if Sean Payton took over?
So look, let me say this. I don't think he will ever come to the Ravens or the Steelers because I think wherever Payton comes, well, I think it's not because of personnel. Wherever Payton comes, he will demand, in my opinion, to be basically the GM as well.
And that's why they would benefit the most.
Hold on. I disagree with everything about this super chat from like the first word to the last word. I feel, but the part that I disagree with the most, the part that I can't really wrap my head around, I feel all staffs are expendable. The coaching staffs add nothing here.
Yeah, nothing.
That's crazy to say.
None of
the
coaching staffs matter in the AFC North.
That's crazy.
Okay.
But so I would say this: Payton will not come ever to Baltimore. Will not come ever to the Steelers. I don't know how the Browns are if they will be willing to.
I don't think Sean Payton's coming out of retirement to be the dude that's coaching Deshaun Watson. Like I just don't think that's what he's coming out of retirement to do.
He's going to
he's going to Dallas and he's trading Dak for Lamar Jackson.
If Dallas plays decent, like if the Dallas win a game in the playoffs, I don't think they fire McCarthy. I think Arizona's an interesting one because
they're not going to win a game in the playoffs, though. They're the Dallas Cowboys. They lost to Jimmy Garoppolo last year. How much do we need to see? Like, they're going to lose in the first round of playoffs because that's what the Cowboys do. Like, every year, we convince ourselves the Cowboys are going to come out the NFC. The Cowboys are going to do this.
I don't know. The Cowboys could end up being the team that plays Brady, and then they could get that win.
Dog, they were the team that played Jimmy last year.
Yeah, but Jimmy, look, the
with a broken finger.
Jimmy had a good coach. I'm not even sure the Bucs are a good coach team, and Brady's washed. So,
I wouldn't do Brady like that. Look, I would take Tom Brady with a bad coach over Jimmy Garoppolo with a good coach any day of the week.
Q, you know how I feel about Tom Brady in the playoffs. I need him eliminated early. And the Cowboys are a talented
The Cowboys are the last team that you want to see play Tom Brady. Because that's the exact type of team Tom Brady would upset for no reason. Because they have a competent quarterback and you expect good things out of him. You know what team would beat Tom Brady? The Vikings. Because nobody expects the Vikings to actually beat Tom Brady. Like that's nah. Come on. You think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be the one that finally puts away Tom Brady for good? Are we serious about this? The Dallas Cowboys. It was hold on, Q. This is like what we thought that
right? It was Ryan Tannehill prior to, right? Ryan Tannehill put away Tom Brady as
Ryan Tannehill doesn't have a 10-year history of just diabolically choking in the playoffs.
He does now.
I mean, he's just not good. We just think he's not good. This is different. We think the Cowboys are good and they still lose in the first round. Like we just they just stink in the first round. This is different. Ryan Tannehill, we understand what that is. He just kind of stinks. Like it just is what it is. He's just not that good. But the Cowboys, there's no reason they should lose in the first round like they do all the time. But they do. They lose all the time in the playoffs. When's the last time they've been to the NFC Championship game? The 90s? Was I born yet?
They won a game with Dak in the playoffs, right?
They didn't get to the championship round.
No, they didn't. No,
but they won a wild card game.
Yeah,
and that was the first time they did it because Tony Romo ain't never won no playoff game. Did he?
The only thing I remember from
what was that fumble snap?
Yeah, that was a wild card game. But did he win? Did he? I think he won one. Didn't he beat the Giants one year?
He might have beat the Lions.
No, the Saints beat the Lions.
No. Wasn't the Des Bryant catch the Lions?
No, that's the
Packers.
Green Bay. The
Okay, well, this is how
Lions played a whole
pathetic
playoff game.
their playoff history is. They're not doing this to Tom Brady, y'all.
The Lions lost to the Saints for sure one year.
Wait.
The second time they made the playoffs.
Going back to the super chat, I think Cardinals.
We got so far off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
The Cardinals make sense, right? You have a quarterback, you have receivers, you have weapons, right? You have some good defensive players. I think the Cardinals make sense for him.
Okay, wait till they have to explain what Call of Duty is to Sean Payton in that interview. And then all of a sudden, Sean's not going to be interested in that job anymore. We got to have him be on what?
Yeah.
No, he's
God,
not
this super
Drew.
chat makes me so excited. See, super chats like this. This one that you're about to read, Sonny.
Who they Joe Power, by the way,
This
he
gives me-
always
Wow, he's
Yeah.
all the way back up on
He's
Joe
in- no,
Mixon.
Joe Mixon is the
and
best.
Joe
That's
Burrow,
crazy. That's crazy because
best QB and running back in NFL. Don't be delusional.
Don't be delusional, guys.
Except for you,
he
Tony.
told us to not be delusional.
Don't be delusional, okay? Listen, that's the best running back quarterback tandem. Even though Joe Mixon was like leading the league in yards, rushing yards under
Y'all wanted him
expectation.
bench for Chris Evans like 2 weeks ago.
I know, but no. But now
Alright,
he's see. This is
yeah.
the Steelers have 3 of these games left. Steeler fans, think about how you feel right now. Okay, you got 3. All this super chat. This is gonna be us. Like this is gonna be us in 2 weeks. Like this is us. By the way, I have a question. Going back to this whole Steelers dead and buried. You guys are all Steeler fans now. Okay, so we're cheering for the Steelers to win just enough games, but not enough. But at what point do you look at the Steelers schedule and start to get worried? Like, let's say the Steelers win back-to-back games. Let's say they do beat the Saints, and then they upset the Bengals, right? And now they're 4-6, and they got Colts Falcons coming up. When does AFC North talk start to go?
If they're 6-6 and Baltimore loses 2 in that time, yes, I'll be like
Baltimore will have lost
more
at least
so.
1 in that case because they'll have played the Steelers.
Oh, then
6-6. So
I'm not even going to sit here and act worried because I expected this to happen. Like, what am I going to be worried about? I planned for this to happen. Look, this is exactly what I thought was going
completely
to
out
happen.
of the realm of possibility.
It's
I'm
not.
convincing myself.
Yeah, go
It's not
ahead.
completely out. It just has to happen offensively. This is the thing that's going to piss me off is if the
It's
Steelers
not.
are still
Go ahead.
hovering around 20 every game, but they're winning now. Like, that's not a good scenario. Just tank and get Will Anderson, or
Because let's be real.
screw around and end up with another 25th pick in the draft, but they, to get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Like, nah.
Look, the games that we really like, let's be real. Beat the Colts, beat the Panthers. Hey man, do what you want with the rest of the season. You know what I mean? Like, do what you want with that.
Yeah.
Because
That's how I think it's going to go. I think it's going to be like
Yeah.
4 wins. Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to win like 2 down.
Well,
I think
predicted 4, but I'm
No,
hoping
as long as y'all win those 2 games, do what you want. Because that way, I know you can't get Bryce to CJ, or you end up with Will Levis. Hey, live with it.
4 wins is not a lot.
Yeah, but I know
4
from
wins get you
I
top
know
5.
from a thorough history that 4 wins is never enough to get the quarterback. It's enough to
Also-
overdraft a position player.
No, well, Will Levis.
Shout out Kyle Pitts and
I have
Trent
a theory.
Richardson.
I want to put it on the record right now. I think Will Levis is potentially going to be the number 1 overall quarterback taken, and I think that Bryce Young might be the 3rd quarterback taken. As stupid as that's going to be,
okay.
I think the size thing with Bryce.
That can happen.
Yeah, the size thing with Bryce, and also
He's
watching
small.
Bryce.
Mhm.
The more I watch Bryce, the more I do realize he doesn't have a rocket of it. He has like a good arm. His arm is fine, but you
He got the
wouldn't
tool.
He had the
wouldn't
tool
say
arm.
like he's a
Yeah,
toolsy guy.
No,
at
he has
all.
the tool arm.
No, he's all moxie and intangibles. That's the problem with him, right? Like if he
They're all
remember Deshaun Watson had a hard time at 6'3" in that bigger frame, pretty much the same prospect as Bryce Young, getting drafted pretty early because his measurables just weren't up to stuff because he just didn't have the arm strength. Well, he wasn't injured.
Yeah, he had
Deshaun
ACL.
Watson?
Not the year that he came out, but the year before.
He had like an ACL like his freshman year.
that's right. The year that Trevor came in for him, right?
No, Trevor came in as a true
No,
freshman.
sorry. Trevor, yeah, that's right. Trevor came in for the kid that went to Missouri. Yeah, that's
I
right.
can't remember. Anyway,
But yeah, it's like like an ACL was never really a true reason to ever not draft a player. We see guys that ACLs get drafted like in the first round where they're supposed to all the time.
Mhm.
But that's part of why he just had all intangibles, but like the tools were nothing special there. Bryce is all of that minus he doesn't even have normal quarterback size, and I think he's smaller than what they list him as.
Of course he is.
Because they list him at like 6'1", 195. Please, he looks 5'10". Like he looks small. Like
he'll bulk up before the combine so that he can get his weight.
Can he?
Yeah.
Because if the problem is he's been had like these weird nagging injuries. You would think if he could bulk up, the dudes bulk up at Alabama all the time. Why isn't he bulked up?
There's no reason for him to bulk up right now.
There is a reason for him to bulk up. He too skinny to play in the NFL. Like
not now. Yeah, but what's the point? I'm not a Bama. I'm saying he's gonna bulk up for the combine. Yeah, I mean, like we're agreeing here.
If he was a little bit bulkier,
they
probably would be one lot less loss. They probably be still in the thing. I'm just saying, like he
didn't tear his friggin' whatever he tore in his shoulder because he was small.
I'm just saying it's not a guarantee that he can get big. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody can get big like that. And he don't strike me as a dude who can get big. Like Jalen Hurts, he was small his freshman year, but you saw him each year get bigger and bigger and bigger. You're like, okay, he ain't got no problem. But him, Bryce looked the same that he looked like his first year at Alabama. And that's a concern. And then you get CJ Stroud, he's kind of like Justin Herbert, where it's like, hey, man, as long as he doesn't have to deal with pressure early on, he's probably going to be fine. But where are you going to find that in the top 5? Like, there are some questions with this class. I'm looking forward to the team that says, F it, trades up to 32. It takes Anthony Richardson in the first round because Anthony
Richardson's probably not coming out.
Somebody's going to do it.
So
somebody's going to do it.
We have, but how does Sean Payton affect LeBron's legacy? And he's trying to, compare having a coach to if you have old-time players. That's how I understand this. I think basketball and football is so different, right? It's just completely different sport.
I think this is just a meme. This is a troll.
This is a meme. By the way, Sonny, we got a bot in chat. And also, before you throw it to me to pay bills, just make sure you check the private chat.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you got it? Okay.
Yeah. So Professor Chaos here says, who are the greatest QB and wide receiver combo? Bengals fan, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase are the best QB
like all time
combo. Well, not all time. I can't give.
Okay, Professor Chaos is trolling now. This is another troll. I like it.
Not a troll.
Who are the greatest quarterback and wide receiver combo?
Okay, can I?
Everybody has forgotten about Jason Campbell to Josh Gordon. I don't know how we slept on that historic combo.
Is JB to is Burrow to Chase the best in the league right now?
Right now, yeah.
Well, technically, statistically, it would be two of the Tyreek
statistic.
Is it Juju to Pat Mahomes?
All time, I will say. Remember that year, Brady and Moss? That was ridiculous.
Yeah, Brady. I mean, they're okay. There's a million of these, right?
Harrison and Peyton Manning.
And Torrey Holt. Yeah, Peyton and Marvin Harrison. Peyton and Reggie Wayne. Yeah.
But if you go back to this year, the problem is we'll see Jamar Chase. How long is he hurt? This year, like last year, yes. This year, the Tua and Tyreek is ridiculous right now.
Tua and Tyreek is ridiculous. Okay, why? Okay,
well, let's be real though. A lot of that ridiculous is because of the Tyreek part of that combination, not necessarily the Tua part. No disrespect to Tua. It's just that's how we look at it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Allen and Diggs. What's wrong with Allen and Diggs?
Well, Allen might.
No.
Okay, forget about the injury. I mean, obviously, yes.
I think that's a better combo.
Jamar Chase is injured right now. Like he's literally not playing games.
If I had to pick one, I would pick Allen and Diggs. Like for one game.
Yeah,
I think I'm going Allen and Diggs.
All right, I got another one for you. I got another one for you.
Oh my God, y'all derailed the show with this super.
I got another one for you.
Really got two games.
Kirk Cousins, and Justin Jefferson.
Just stop it. Stop it. All right. Well, better record though, but stop it. Stop it. You know what you're doing there. Now you're just upsetting people.
Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp.
Okay. Like, all right, let's move on.
In the Super Bowl, who was better?
Well,
like we've seen these match up.
I mean, Jamar Chase was not getting Super Bowl MVP votes. It was all
that is
Aaron Donald.
Couldn't even get a target on
or Odell. It was Odell for the first half. Then it was Aaron Donald, and then it just Cooper Kupp stole that. But you know what?
Cooper Kupp is a beast, but the QB part of that equation, yeah. Okay, let's pay some bills, Tony.
All right. Make sure I got the right one here. Got it. Men have been plagued with bad style for far too long. Department store tees are just not designed to make you look good. They cut corners to give you $5 shirts without quality fabric. And the premium brands that do provide a good fit mark up the price an insane amount, costing you as much as $60 per t-shirt. Our sponsor, True Classic, is here to save the day, literally. Save big and upgrade your style for a limited time only. Get 25% off True Classic with my exclusive link at trueclassic.com/AFC North Talk. If you're watching it here on YouTube, you'll see it at the bottom of your screen. trueclassic.com/AFC North Talk. There are some men who just want to look good in t-shirts. Most companies make shirts for those guys there are some men who always look good in t-shirts. Most companies make shirts for those guys and forget everyone else with a normal body. True Classic designed tees to make all the fellas out there feel confident in their clothing. Abs, flabs, dad bod, or past the dad bod. With True Classic shirts, you'll get the best fit. We've seen you wear your ratty t-shirts for years. Little pit stains, micro holes, faded color. You can find softer comfort with better looks in so many different colors at True Classic. True Classic tees taper off towards the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. This is a desirable look that can be achieved with every body type. They give you wide shoulder, tapered bottom look we're all looking for, and the quality is elite. True Classic offers menswear as well, ranging from polos to workout shirts to boxer briefs designed to cradle your boys and eliminate discomfort. They make it super easy to build out your wardrobe with premium quality. If you purchase a 6-pack or even a 3-pack, the price per shirt is far more reasonable than any of those marked up premium brands you see floating around. And for my listeners who are well endowed, they have long options for tall guys and up to 3XL. True Classic has 100% risk-free guarantee and a 30-day return policy. Their response to these tees are overwhelmingly positive with over 70,000 5-star reviews. It's no wonder that these shirts are quickly becoming a men's go-to. So get 25% off True Classic with the exclusive link trueclassic.com/AFC North Talk.
Yeah, and also here, shout out to our guys, Adam Holland, Don Gazula, being the top tier Patreons. If you want to support the show a little bit more, go check our Patreon. We have a lot of fun. Now we have another story from Tony. I can't wait to hear that. But we kick it. It's fun. Go check out the Patreon. If you want to support us a little bit more, but especially big shout out to Adam Holland and Don Gasulu for being the top tier Patreon. Okay. By the way, we getting bots left and right.
That's a sign of success.
Q, I think you're muted.
I didn't want to interrupt that art of
Tony. I like the
okay. So
like the ad read when it said, "If you're well endowed and need a 3XL, great."
That's
good copy. That
good
copy
means
there.
large person.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what it means.
The Browns play the Dolphins, as we alluded to a little bit here. This for me is an interesting game. The Browns are coming out of a bye. The Browns play as kind of a similar team, right? With the explosive over-the-top passing. And I see the same path for the Browns' success as they had against the Bengals, right? I'm not saying that they're gonna win straight up. I took the Bengals in that game, but I think the Browns could win. Look what the Chicago Bears just did to that defense, right? The Miami defense. Can the Browns run all over there, control the tempo, control the game, put Tua and Tyreek there, right? I think they can. But the problem is on defense, can they manage the explosive plays, right? Explosive play will come here and there. Can they manage? Can they get the explosive play but not give up the touchdown and then hold it to 3? That will be the question for me. Q, I'm very interested to see what is your perspective in this game.
Yeah, I was looking at the Dolphins, right? And this is a team that people are kind of starting to get down on despite them winning their last 3 games. And it's interesting, right? Because their losses are not where you have the concern with the Dolphins. I think they lost to the Vikings. That's a fine loss. The Jets turns out to be a fine loss. Without Tua. And then the Bengals, right? They lost those 3 games. Were those all 3 without Tua? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the one where Tua went out, right?
Tua didn't finish the Bengals game, but he didn't play in the other 2.
Yeah, when he started, and we all know how that unfortunately went for him, right? So they lost those 3 games against 3 very good teams. They're you're not really going to be tripping over. But then you look at these last 3 wins and you're like, man, it's kind of weird, right? Beating Pittsburgh 16-10, That's weird. 16-10,
Good team,
Pittsburgh.
dude. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
You know what I mean? The beating Detroit
teams.
31-27 last minute. That's weird. That's very weird. Beating Chicago 35-32. Like, that's weird, right? And this to me smells like a team that is about due, right? And I think the Browns are a team, like, look, I make all my jokes about the Browns, but they're not a team you want to let hang around, right? Like, if you were playing the Browns, you really need to get rid of them, like, the quicker the more possible, because they can take one possession, hold the ball for 7 minutes in a one score game, and will score on you. And that might take you out of it, right? They have a good enough defense and good enough playmakers to get turnovers on you. And if this is a game where the Dolphins decide to come out a little slow, let the Browns hang around, and let the Browns play their brand of ball, because you look at Pittsburgh, kind of let Pittsburgh get away with what Pittsburgh does, which is a low-scoring football game. You look at Detroit, the Bears, they kind of let these teams do what they want to do offensively. If you let the Browns do what they want to do offensively, I know we're a 3-5 team. We have our flaws, but this is a 3-5 team. You cannot allow that to happen to, because then the Browns can get up 7 on you, they can get up 10, and then they can really squeeze the lead out from you. Now, whether they hold it defensively, that's the big question. If this is the defense that showed up the last 2 weeks for the Browns, they're in good hands, right? Because they played well enough against the Ravens, they played well enough against the Bengals, and the defensive line play was important, right? And I think that's what's going to be important this week. This is going to be a game where you have to 100% absolutely have to disrupt the passing lanes for Tua, right? We know how it is with these 6-foot quarterbacks. It's not about hitting them like it is a Joe Burrow, right? It's about getting in their lanes, mucking them in the pocket, limiting the level, the amount of windows that they have to throw the ball in, which requires discipline, and it requires not necessarily winning on the line of scrimmage, but at least anchoring on the line of scrimmage, right? Like, at least being able to hold your ground and get your hands up. We know with Miles and Jadeveon, that's not really a problem. We have those issues with the inside, but they did a good job against it with Lamar, and they didn't really have to do it against the Bengals because they were getting pressure. They were actually just penetrating through. That's going to be the question, right? Can you disrupt those angles? Because the secondary, they're going to be able to limit the big plays. I would say, like, if you throw the ball out there 10 times, you're probably going to get a big play, 20% of the time, 30% of the time versus the Browns defense. So that's going to be what it is. And I think that's enough to slow it down. But if the Browns are allowed to play ball control, if the Browns are allowed to have these long ass possessions, if the Browns are allowed to get what they want offensively. And when I look at when I look at the Dolphins, there is nothing there that screams to me that they can stop the Browns out of base sets, right? And that's a big concern, right? Because now if you got to start changing your personnel around, that's where the Browns offense really starts to put you in a chokehold. Because the thing that the Browns offense has been able to do is when teams have been able to go heavy and, we're going to put the extra D lineman in there, we're going to put an extra guy in the box, that's where they've killed you, right? That's where Amari Cooper pops up with a 100-yard game, or Donovan Peoples-Jones. That's why both of those wide receivers are on course for 1,000-yard years each for the Browns. So if you have to resort to, we're going to go cover one, and we're going to go man underneath, and we're going to go all out to stop the run, you're playing into the Browns' hands, because not only can they run against that if you're not a good team at doing that, but they can throw against that effectively well enough to get you out of that. And once you're at that point, you're kind of just lost on defense. So I think some of these matchups lean more in the favor of the Cleveland Browns than I think a lot of people are going. Now, again, Jalen Waddle, it really depends on what their plan is defensively to solve that, because if it's MJ Emerson on Jalen Waddle, boy, that's going to be burnt chicken. I love MJ, but I know the tape from MJ. Like, I've seen him try to get those fast dudes on the outside. That's burnt chicken right there. But if they put Greg Newsome out there to cover that, I feel fine about that. Denzel Ward on Tyreek Hill is going to be what it's going to be. Tyreek's going to get a couple plays, man. That's Tyreek Hill. You're not holding Tyreek under 60 yards. He's not Allen Robinson. Like, this is a real deal wide receiver. So you're going to have to deal with some of these things. I think the Dolphins are going to be able to score the ball a little bit, but I think the Browns are able to limit possessions enough to keep this score under 30. And if it's under 30, I like the Browns' chances. I really like the Browns' chances. The thing gets to like 36 points, then that's going to be where Jacoby Brissett throws a bad interception because we're asking too much, and we're going to tap out the tank on that, right? Yeah. But if this thing stays under 30, this is right in the Browns' wheelhouse, and nothing from the last 3 weeks that I've seen from the Dolphins indicates that they're going to do anything to prevent that. Now, will the Browns do stuff to prevent that? I don't know. This team is not to be trusted still. That's the problem with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
They're not to be trusted. But if everything, I can see a wide path of victory here for the Cleveland Browns. Whereas, like, if this were the Bills, I think there's like one path. I think there are multiple paths of victory. I think those paths aren't as fragile for me to think that this is not a game that the Browns can win. Not should win, but I think this is a toss-up, to be honest.
So obviously, being a Browns fan, then you are gonna pick your team in a close one.
Sonny, what do you think the line for this is? Oh, you already said. You said it was 5, right? You said it was Dolphins by 5.
-5, yeah. I guess it's in Miami, right?
It's in Miami. Yep.
Yeah, -5, -6, something like that.
I would have thought the same. I was right there with you. I thought it might even be like 5.5. Yeah, 5.5, 6, 6.5, something like that. It's Dolphins by 3.5, and it hasn't moved.
Ooh,
hasn't moved. I mean, we're talking about like stable, just 3.5, not moving.
They're sleeping on Jacoby Brissett returning home.
Ravens run to something very interesting. I don't think Tua will have time to throw, and that's the key here, right, Tony? We talk about against the Bengals, shove and the one side, and then you can get Myles Garrett and
Here's why I'm saying passing lanes. I don't care if you get to Tua and sack him. The most dangerous stuff with Tyreek Hill is not the deep ball, as people assume. It is those 7-yard hitching. Yeah. It's like when he can get the ball close to the line of scrimmage with momentum, that's where he hurts you, right? Like if he gets the 40-yard bomb, cool. That's not what's going to dink and dunk you to death with Tua and Tyreek. And this is the case even in Kansas City, right? Where he can have those big yardage and like have like a bunch of yards on like 3 receptions. You'll live with that. The thing you don't want is one of them like 8 reception, 125-yard like Tyreek games, because that means he's getting you every time on like 3rd down or something like that. Passing lanes, you got to get those hands up and tip those balls when he's trying to throw those low crossers across the field to Tyreek Hill to get him momentum going up north. And you have to make this a game to where you have to take that away from them. If you take that away from them, this is a whole new ball game for you. But that's the thing, right? Like Tyreek, he's gonna beat somebody over top. He runs like 4 and flat.
But this is a Myles game, right? Myles has to take over in that line of scrimmage. Myles, like, I don't know, like, because I think this is a game where the interior really needs to be able to hold their ground. They really do. They need to not give up 5 yards on 1st down. They need to be able to hold their ground. They need to be able to, like, Myles is going to be Myles, right? But a game where I think Myles is like going to have a big one is a game where you play like a Josh Allen or a Joe Burrow, like these guys who can get out the pocket and make some plays with their feet and with the ball. Tua is not necessarily that. Tua is somebody who's going to stay in the pocket. So those sacks are going to come or they're not going to come from there. What you really need is the disruption of those passing lanes. And from the edge position, he's not really going to disrupt that many passing lanes other than like screens. You really need those interior guys to be able to step up. You really need solid play from your Mike linebacker this week. You really need those things to happen because those passing lanes, that's what's. I wouldn't be surprised if they put Myles up in at 3 tech sometimes in this game just for that purpose of disrupting those lanes, because that's what you need more this week than I think you need, like, to consistently hit Tua and get to the pressure with him. Something the Ravens have done good this year, and I think Myles in the interior, a little bit more in the interior, can help, is that hand up, because Myles a giant, right? Myles a giant and batted balls. Tua's not the tallest guy. Obviously, that can also, on a quick pass, cause some sort of disruption. But Tony, what do you think this game is coming down to? Who do you think wins?
I think this is okay. So I have this. Well, first of all, can I just give a theory about the Browns and Dolphins as franchises in general? Right? Because obviously, because I've had this theory for a long time, and I'm glad these two teams are playing so I can actually express this. Because and maybe this is too inside baseball because I live in Florida and I'm surrounded by Dolphins fans. But like Dolphins fans are Browns fans if they went 8-8 every year, right? Like basically Browns fans have this feeling, that it's like, oh, we're gonna suck again. Like here we, they just have this inevitability to like, here we go again, Browns. We're doing this again. And whenever we talk to a Browns fan, they always imagine the worst. It's like even with Q now, he won't even admit that the Steelers are having, even in the midst of the worst season the Steelers have had in, my lifetime. right? And it's like, nope, not enjoying it yet because I need to see the number on the record before I will believe it. Right
Let
now,
me tell you though, the Steelers get to like 8 losses. Boy, I might get a ticket for that 9th one.
Yeah. So like Dolphins fans, being around so many Dolphins fans have the exact same mindset, but it's just, it's always like, well, we're going to lose. I mean, or we're going to be 8-8. I mean, we're going to be somewhere around 8-8 every year. It's just, we're going to be, even if we're good, it doesn't matter. Well, this team will find a way to end up 8-8 and just miss the playoffs.
So you're telling us that we the same thing as the Chargers?
Yeah, exactly. It's basically, it's the Dolphins and the Chargers. Right? Yeah.
Look, not everybody can have this historical precedent of winning most of their games like, the Ravens and the Steelers are used to. Some of us have watched our team lose because Dwayne Rudd decides to throw off a helmet in celebration. We saw that happen to DJ Moore. We was like, yeah, been there before, buddy. Been there before, buddy. Yep.
I mean, you think about it though. You think about the Dolphins. They're an interesting team because when was the last time you thought the Dolphins were like one of the best teams in the National Football League? It's been a while. I mean, it's been a long, long time, right?
Remember that year with Ronnie Brown and Ricky?
Yeah, and that
the wild card year,
the Wildcat year,
the year where they introduced the now ancient concept of the wild card.
Yes, that was the last time I remember.
The Wildcat, my bad.
Wildcat, yeah.
When somebody breaks out the Wildcat, it's like we going old school. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah. They were the Dolphins were the worst team in the league one year. They almost went winless. Who did they beat, by the way? Does anyone remember who they beat?
The Ravens. I know.
It wasn't us. That was 2019. It wasn't us.
I know, Tony. It was us.
Oh, that was the Ravens?
Yeah. It was the
Damn.
Ravens. It was a weird game. Okay, so anyway, so that's my theory. Is like the Dolphins and Browns their fan bases are very similar to me because they have this kind of fatalistic view of their team. It's just with the Browns, it's just like this is going to end up badly. And for the Dolphins, like even when they're bad, like don't worry about it. Don't worry, we'll finish 8-8. We'll finish 8-8. If they're good, we'll finish 8-8. Don't worry about it. We're not going to be good. By the way, we're going to be 8-8.
Tony, I just realized this. Yeah. It is very possible by week 13 that the 9th loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers could be on the board at Atlanta. What are the Browns doing?
I see. You actually could go. I see. I was like, why does Atlanta
what the Browns are doing on the 4th.
Oh, right. What date is that?
It's December 4th.
December 4th? All right, I'll go to the game with you. We'll make a trip out there. If you're actually going to go to the game, if the Steelers are going to have their 9th loss, we'll do an AFC North talk live from Atlanta. All right. Now, about this game in general. And it's funny because my same friend who is one of the most fatalistic Dolphin fans of all time, I texted him during this last game against the Browns, and I said, the Dolphins are a sleeping giant, and they're probably the 3rd best team in the National Football League. But
that's Deshaun's return date.
Oh, it is? All right, well, guess we're not.
There's no shot.
Guess we're not doing that. I think the Dolphins, obviously, look, I have a love for Nerd Boy, the coach. So I am biased because I want to see Nerd Boy do well. But you have to admit, like the offense that he's put together, Tua has not lost a game this year. The only games that they've lost are games that Tua left or didn't play. When Tua's in there, when he has his guys, this offense just goes. And the thing I'm most impressed about the Dolphins this year is that they are not reliant on game script whatsoever. They have won every kind of game you can draw up, right? You want a game in which it's going to be the other team, like we talked about. What if the Browns hold the ball forever in this game and you limit the Dolphins' possessions and they have to score on the very few times they get the ball? Can they win a game like that? Yeah, they already did. It's called the Bills game. They beat the Bills that way. The Bills had the ball for like 40 minutes in that game. Then they beat the Lions a couple weeks ago in a game where the Lions the Lions were up like 21-7 early in that game. They kind of jumped out to an early lead, and the Dolphins had to come from behind. The same thing against the Ravens. They did it the same way. And then last week against the Bears, that was just a straight track meet. Can they win in a straight track meet? Yes, they can. So I like this Dolphins team a lot. Now, as far as Q talks about, are they due for a loss? It does feel like they've been kind of playing with their food a little bit the last couple weeks. Are the Bears, 4 points worse than the Dolphins? Right? I mean, is that how that game should have played out? Shouldn't the Dolphins? I feel like if the Dolphins block a punt and just go lights out on offense, and Tua looks like he's right.
That's a block punt.
It was a block. The Dolphins played a really good game in that one, but the Bears just kept hanging around. Maybe that says more about Fields than it does about anything else. But still, it just felt weird that they were hanging around. Same thing with the Lions the week before. Same thing you guys talk about the Steelers, right? I mean, weird game against the Steelers. I could see the Browns winning this one. I just think the Browns have been so game script dependent. Like you talk about the Dolphins being game script independent, they can win any kind of game. But the Browns have kind of won one style of play, which is we get out to an early lead and we kind of, we just kind of roll from there. These games where they've had to come back or it's kind of been back and forth, those are the games that they've lost. So I'm going to take, as far as the Myles Garrett thing, by the way, the whole pass rush thing, I agree that it's going to be more about their ability to get in. Look, we can't sit here and say Tua doesn't take hits because
he takes hits.
He's taken at least, he's taken at least two.
Some massive.
Yeah. He's taken at least 2 this year, but he does get rid of the ball really quickly. He's got a time to throw of, I think 2.45 or something, which is one of the quickest in the league. He's been, again, Nerd Boy's doing a great job at scheming up ways to get guys open and get the ball out of Tua's hands relatively quickly. Because remember that Dolphins offensive line, not good. The interesting thing about this game will be the Dolphins have the worst pass defense in the league, but they do still have Xavier Howard, who is good. Then again, Amari Cooper has just roasted everybody he's gone up against. So I'm more intrigued. I know this Nick Chubb and can they get the run game going? I'm more intrigued by Brissett, Cooper. This should be a game where those two should be able to eat a little bit. And I'm interested to see if that plays itself out. I'll take the Dolphins because I'm biased towards Nerd Boy. And I wish this game were at 4:00 so I could see it all. Because obviously I'll be watching the Steelers at the same time. But this is a good game. It's a fun game. And I will take the Dolphins to win.
Dolphins winning. I'm on the fence, to be honest. Because I do think if they put the same type of game plan or game design that they did against the Bengals, I can see them squeezing a field goal win. But I can also see the Dolphins blow them out, right? Like it's all over the place. I'm gonna go with the higher record.
Wait, Sonny, did you just say?
No. I didn't. I said I could see either or.
You've been playing with it second time. Alluded to it. I'm just saying.
But I think the Browns
put it down here. You want to put it down here?
No.
Nope. I'm not advocating. I'm just asking for the clarification. I'm asking. This is a check swing. I want to know. Was this a check swing? I'm pointing to Tony. Hold on, wait, Tony. Was that a check swing?
Well, listen. Remember, you are talking about a person here in Sunny who will coerce it out of you. Okay, he will. That's his specialty. Right?
This is going to review.
Yeah.
I'll throw the flag like the first just now.
Booth review.
I'm gonna go here. Dolphins by 7. I'm gonna go Dolphins by a touchdown. A game, but they're gonna pull it at the end. Dolphins by a touchdown. We have a super chat here before we Raven Ron here says, Sonny, why won't EDC go sign OBJ and get Lamar some wide receiver help? We really only need him for the playoffs. Currently, no wide receiver demands respect in this secondary. Look, 2 things. OBJ, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere I read that he put his finalists 4 teams. Ravens are not in his final 4 teams. Looks like
which is so crazy.
Dallas.
We don't have to.
But second, EDC had an opportunity at the trade deadline to get somebody. Like I like the Roquan Smith move. He should have had, especially Bateman.
You should have got.
Who?
There was a receiver traded at the deadline.
No. Because people were like, oh, DJ Moore, and there was another guy that was good that people were talking about. For example, I would have been good with Marshall from the Panthers, Denzel Mims from the Jets. Those are 2 players that you probably could have gotten for, I don't know, a third or something like that.
Yeah, but those are like the same guys the Ravens always have, right? Which is like these kind of.
We don't have any 4 receivers right now.
What I'm saying, like, but they're not. But they're like at best number 2s. Like,
yeah, but
it's like
no number
get Kevin White. Why didn't the
Ravens
Ravens get Kevin White? That's the real question.
There was no number 1 in the trading deadline because there were fake trades put out there from DJ Moore, and I'm blanking who the other top receiver was out there.
Did y'all see Odell's tweet about somebody was like, hey, Odell, respond to this tweet if you're never going to come back to the Browns? And he just responded to the tweet and said, hey, what's up?
Wow.
He's not coming back.
Wow.
I think
it's processing the video's processing orange.
Okay. So I was gonna say, the Odell, I think, put Buffalo, put Dallas, the Rams, but I can't remember the 14. That's the 14 that I was reading, and Jerry Jones already flirting with it. So I think he's probably going to go to Dallas.
It's going to be Dallas, I think, because Dallas makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Well, Odell,
I mean, if he goes to Buffalo, he's the third receiver on that team.
that's where
he's not going to play above
year.
Gabe Davis. So
That's kind of where he shined last year, though.
Yeah, he did. He did.
No, he was the number 2 receiver on that team because Robert Woods got hurt right away.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Robert Woods got hurt, but he was still kind of like the third option.
You got Cooper Kupp last year and
Higbee, but Higbee got hurt too. So that's, I mean, okay. OBJ was definitely the number 2 option by the end of the year.
True, but during the playoffs in the Super Bowl, he definitely was favored early in that game.
But he's not going to be an outside receiver in Buffalo. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
If he could be the number 2 and be outside, or number 3 and be outside, like I think he'll ultimately be fine.
Yeah.
I don't think he plays this year.
You don't think there's money out there to be made? You think he?
What about Tennessee for him? Huh?
Oh goodness gracious, no.
Huh?
No.
By the way, all this the Malik Willis stuff that got said on Monday night, like people were like, "Oh, Malik, this is why Malik Willis sucks." Dude,
he should have been in Pittsburgh.
If you didn't watch, like the only way you could think like Malik Willis is trash is if you didn't watch him last year. If you watched any Malik Willis in college and thought, "Oh yeah, man, right away he's going to come in and just light up the world,"
no, dog.
That's not who he. This is a guy who clearly needed a year. And by the way, as you saw on Monday night, yep, needs a year. You're gonna need about a year.
Yeah, it looked like he was very uncomfortable with the ideal of dropping back 3 steps. Like that's it looked like baby's first 3-step drop off. I was like, ooh.
I tweeted out the Godfather meme, like, look what they did to my boy. Like, those last 3 plays when they just sacked him 1,000 times. He had no idea what he was doing.
Tomlin would have him throwing the flat, baby. That's it. Just throw the flat. You know what I mean? Just out the gun, throw the flat. Make his life real easy.
Anyway, with that being said, guys, remember, go check True Classic out. Upgrade your t-shirt game.
There's t-shirts in the game.
Also, Patreon, if you want to support us a little bit extra. Again, when we go live, it's great conversation. Yeah, the people that catch the live, they ask us whatever. We're there.
Why is the title? I just noticed this. Why is the title of this video staying in the playoff picture? I know, Sonny, you put these together. Are you trolling? You trolling right now?
Well, the Browns are trying to stay in
the Browns are staying in the playoff
picture. I mean, the Steelers don't really factor into the title.
The Browns are staying in the playoff picture. They are 3-6.
Yeah,
they're 3-5.
It should be called like
3-5. Time out.
Okay,
time out.
I'm from the future on Monday. But they're 3-6 now.
Oh, whoa! Booth review. Flag on the play. Flag. Wow.
The title should be called like digging.
I thought it was a toss up before today, but you guys have made that lean in a direction that I feel more comfortable about.
Listen,
wow.
I don't like this. No, hold on. I don't like this idea that picking against a team is all of a sudden anywhere close to.
Tony, should I put it?
No, we don't need. No, absolutely not.
No, don't do it. Don't, because we sending this to the booth. We're gonna send this to New York. New York gonna agree with me.
Tony's saying this.
That's right. It is my AFC North talk. Lock of the week.
Damn.
All right, that's a booth review, dog. Wow. Look, you get on your bye week, you think it's not going to affect you. Okay. All right. We just be playing. See? All right. I got to start Jimmy Garoppolo this week on my fantasy team. Look, I needed the luck because
our best bets last week, our best bets in week 9. Oh, let's look this up. Our best bets were Saints plus 2.5. This is week 9.
Yeah, we didn't do one last week.
We didn't do one last week. Yes, this would have been a week before. All right, we don't have to.
By the way, just as we go, I think the Browns have a chance to win this game.
Don't try to. No. Don't try to inner video game this. Nah.
That was Tony.
Yeah,
I didn't say that.
You said this could be a blowout.
What's the point of the video title being?
Tony already put the 6 loss there. That's crazy. That's wild.
You're 2+ games below 500. You're not staying in the playoff picture, okay? You're digging yourself out of a hole.
With the chance to be 1 game under 500. You know what I mean? Okay, we don't know who the Bills are going to be when we play them.
Yeah. That is copium you're hearing right now.
I mean, I'm just saying, wow. This part, if I got to make a video this year, if the Browns are this year's Bengals, that is clip number 1. Somebody make sure they bookmark that for me. You know what I mean? Because I don't believe it's going to happen enough to actually do it. But wow, that was crazy. Wow. Just
and with that
unbelievable way to end the show.
Take care, guys. We'll
All right,
see you next time. Peace
Steelers
out.
by